So the different kinds of pictures and images, people holding hands, people hugging, candlelight, romantic dinners, walks on the beaches. If you want children, pictures of kids at different stages. What kind of animals do you want to have? I had one picture on one of my vision boards of the kind of bedroom that I wanted with an ocean view. And today we're living in a house that has the exact view that vision board had.
Here's another one. This is, I think, a little more challenging. Savor the waiting.
Yeah. And start with thinking about a place in your life where you do savor the waiting. So it may be, maybe your favorite part of dinner is dessert. Mine is. I love chocolate. So I'll be excited. I know I'm going out to dinner. I'm going to see friends. I'm thinking about what I'm going to have for dessert. You know how to savor that kind of waiting. But if you could just trust me and believe that the one is out there for you, wouldn't you be able to rest in your heart with a little bit more peace and just go, yeah, there's really nothing for me to do. There's only something for me to know. And the knowing is that they're on the way. And enjoy the waiting time, because the thing that you don't know is that when you get everything you ever wanted, it is incredibly stressful. And I found that out when I met Brian. He was everything that I ever wanted, and everything that I ever wanted happened really, really fast. And suddenly I had the stress of trying to, learn everything I could about this person, because we got engaged 3 weeks after we met, and it was like suddenly we had weddings to plan, and he was moving in, and I had this business to run. And was it good stress? Yeah, it was good stress. But there were moments where it was like, wow, my life was a lot more under control and peaceful while I was just waiting. And I knew he was coming. I trusted he was coming. So that's why I say savor the waiting, because even though you can't imagine now that you're going to miss it, there's a part of us that's addicted to yearning. And I missed the yearning. Suddenly I had the guy, and it's like, wow, there was a part of me that really enjoyed the well, where is he?
Arielle, is there an average that you found that people need to wait? Is it 6 months? Is it 3 years? Is it just beautifully, spiritually?
No, I think it's all about divine timing. I believe that certain parts of our life are predestined, and a lot of it we have free will. And when those two places meet up, that's where the magic is. And so it's kind of about, look and see, where would your life be different today if you were in this relationship? And how can you begin living as if it's already there? I'll give you an example. I really wanted to learn how to scuba dive at one point in my life. And I finally decided, if I keep waiting till the guy shows up to learn how to scuba dive, I could be an old woman. So I went and I took scuba lessons, and then the whole group of us decided to go to Bonaire to go scuba diving. And 2 weeks before we left for the trip, the guy that I was dating at the time said, wow, that's the best thing I ever heard of. He went on the trip with me. Suddenly I was a more attractive person because I was enthusiastic and passionate about something I wanted to do.
Last step, falling in love with yourself. I think we've all been told that. It's difficult. What parts of ourselves do we really need to truly love?
Well, I think people get confused between loving yourself and selfishness. And when people love themselves, they take care of themselves first. So if you're a doormat or a people pleaser or an overcare nurturer, you have to look and see, where do I need to love myself so that I can love myself enough that somebody else would love me? And you just start small. And it may be, if you see that you're always doing for others, it's like, and you're thinking, gosh, I wish somebody would do that for me. Well, you're up to bat. It's your job to take care of yourself. And then sometimes you have to make a list of all the people that do love you. And it may be with your dog or your cats. Like, well, they really love me, and my mom really loves me, and this, and sometimes we just have to remind ourselves that we are really, really lovable, and go out and do something good for yourself.
Arielle, one of the questions you and I were discussing was giving people some role models to look at and to emulate. I think so many times we just wonder, is it really possible? What does a soulmate relationship look like? What are some people that we can observe that are more well known.
Yeah, well, I grew up looking at Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward. You know, I didn't see them a lot, but whenever I saw pictures of them, they were looking at each other like they really loved each other, and you always heard about how much they loved each other. I think Sting and Trudy Styler could be role models, or Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. I mean, they've actually talked in magazines about how they're soulmates. So there are couples out there. I mean, who would you look to as a role model?
I would probably have said Sting and Trudy. And
Yeah.
I've met them and I've seen them together, and they are so fully themselves, and there's just a lot of love and space and respect and honoring, and it's a beautiful thing.
And I think the thing that they really show is that it's a conscious decision you make every day that your relationship's going to come first. You know, and you really see that. He's supportive of her efforts, you know, and she's supportive of his. So I would say find a role model, you know, find somebody. If you can't find anybody, use me.
I was going to say you would have probably been my other choice, having met both of you.
Yeah,
It's
I really
true.
think that, you know, there's a level at which Brian and I feel that that's a gift that we have to share with other people, that we're very fortunate to find each other, and we've been working really hard to love and support each other so we could love and support other people.
For someone who's married currently and maybe in an unhappy marriage, and they know that the person they're with is maybe the father or mother of their children, but really not a soulmate, do you think it's wise for them to potentially leave the marriage and believe that that soulmate is out there? What do you recommend to them?
I would say don't leave because you're looking to get your soulmate. If you're miserable and the kids aren't doing well because of it, then you need to leave for you and for them and for the other person. You know, I wouldn't say, okay, well, prove to me the soulmate's out there and I'll leave this bad one, because if you don't know how to be in a relationship with yourself or somebody else, you're going to recreate the madness somewhere else.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Let's shift a little bit to the spiritual aspect of what's going on here. So we went through the 9 steps. We have belief in something, sort of a higher energy that might be supporting it. Is it important for people to believe in God, in someone doing some of the work?
I don't know that they need to believe in God, but I think you have to believe that there's something greater than yourself, even if it's just unity consciousness, that there's this field of energy out there that we are a small piece of. And if you tap into the greater good of it all, you know, more can be yours because it already is. You've just forgotten. So I don't like to think of myself as a spiritual leader or an expert. I just like to report on what's worked for me.
It's beautiful. Arielle, the way we end off all of our interviews here on the show is to ask the experts the exact same 3 questions. And they're questions all about change.
Okay.
So the first one is, what is the belief that you go to during times of change in your own life?
Oh, I think when I'm going through change, and I don't like change, I'm very resistant to change. At this point in my life, I look back at the worst things that ever have happened to me, and I remember how they turned into the best things. And I just trust that even though it's uncomfortable and I don't like it and I'm resisting it, that ultimately something much better always came out of the worst days of my life.
Beautiful. I love it. Here's the second question. Fill in the sentence. The best thing about change is?
The best thing about change? I think change means something better's on the way. You're just making room for something better to come to you.
Here's the last one. What is the best change that you've ever made?
The best change? For sure, the best change I ever made was consciously deciding to heal my heart of all the things that would stop me from having my soulmate appear.
We're glad that he did. We love him dearly. Arielle, what a pleasure. Thank you for being on the show. Thanks for all the wisdom and the tips and things that I know personally I'm going to share and spread the good word.
Thanks.
It's a real pleasure. You've been listening to an interview with Arielle Ford on Change Nation. For more information about her and her work and her wonderful, wonderful book, The Soulmate Secret, please visit her online at soulmatesecret.com. For more fascinating interviews on all types of different life changes, please be sure to visit us online at first30days.com. I'm Ariane. Thanks for listening.